Hi guys, this is Grae. This is my first ever out of theater review. So I finally watched Snow White the remake, and yeah, it's a lot worse than I thought it would be, even though I had very low expectations on it. So right off the gate, this is gonna be full of spoilers. I'm not gonna even bother saying that it's spoiler free because the points I want to drive across, it's I can't make my points without spoiling the movie. So warning if you want to watch it, but I am pretty sure, or I have a good feeling that you don't care when you're watching, if you're gonna watch this video anyway. So yeah, Snow White remake. If you already strongly despise Rachel Zegler, it's like you're gonna have a hard time separating the actress from the movie. And so if you hate her, you're probably gonna hate this film. But even then, even though let's say you're okay with her or you don't really know what's been going on for the past 2 years, it's a lot of it is a lot of the changes they made. I can't say I approve. Especially I watched the a lot of it is yeah, it's you've already seen the trailers before, like, oh, she's not gonna find true love, she's gonna be the girl she's meant to be, and that's exactly what happened. That's the premise of the entire movie. Hey guys, Grae from the future. I did forget to mention some things in this video, so I'm here to make it up now. So I forgot to mention that the origin of Snow White is that she was born in the snow. Hence her name is Snow White. So which is kind of stupid in my opinion. Like that's the only time in the world that it ever snowed, and that's how she got her name. And yeah, that's about it. And the singing of Rachel Zegler is fine in my opinion. That's probably the most positive thing I can say about her. And yeah, it's not terrible. It's okay, but it's not also great or it really wowed me in any way. And that's about it. Back to the video. What else? Okay, so the Wishing Well song. Sorry, no. Let's go back to the very start. So the changes are, um, in the animated film, it's the evil queen right away, and her niece, I believe, is Snow White. So that's not the case here in this remake. In the remake, it's so Snow White is legitimately the princess of the kingdom, with her mom and dad as the king and queen. So it starts off with the Wishing Well song, but except the theme is about instead of her finding true love, it's about her being the leader that she was meant to be, without any form of training, without any form of character development. She's just the leader that she was meant to be. That's it. It's her parents telling, "Oh, you're gonna be the leader. Oh, you're gonna be so good." Then that's it. That's the premise of the song. But then, not long after, the mother dies because of illness. That's it. She's gone. Then, so it's just her and her Snow White and her dad. So then comes Gal Gadot as like the beautiful lady who ends up remarried. The king ends up remarrying him, so she becomes the queen. Then what Gal Gadot does is like she has this some sort of premonition or prophecy that there's the danger in the southern kingdom. So what the king does is he marches his troops down to the south, never to be seen again. And that's how Gal Gadot like reveals her true evil intent, and she becomes evil queen. And so with that said, from a prosperous kingdom, she becomes oppressive. She steals all the riches for herself, and then Snow White is becomes her role in the original animated film, where she just doing chores or doing household work, and then probably sometime after, when she's all grown up, what happens? Okay, she meets a thief named Jonathan, and she's like, he's white, by the way, and he's stealing food. And then Snow White encounters him trying to steal food from the king because since the evil queen is oppressive and the people are hungry, so he's stealing food to provide for people. And like there's kind of like a low jab moral ambiguity here, where it's kind of weird, but it sort of makes sense. And you see Rachel Zegler and Jonathan like arguing. Oh, so also you're stealing now. That doesn't justify stealing, and it's, it kind of throwing jabs to the old tales about like the Robin Hood tale, like steal from the rich, give to the poor. Modern day Disney. And so what happens is Snow White just turns a blind eye and lets Jonathan leave. But Jonathan ends up getting caught by Gal Gadot and the guards. So like that was when the first time Snow White sees the extreme evilness of Gal Gadot, because like, hey, I think because Gal Gadot wants him executed, but Snow White said, oh, I think that's a bit of an overkill. He's just stealing food, and then and then you're gonna execute him. Then Gal Gadot was like, I don't forgot the exact phrase. It was like, I'm the queen and this is what I want to happen. But she was able to say that, spare his life, spare his life. And then what ends up happening is Gal Gadot ties Jonathan up in the gates, which Snow White conveniently sneaks up and frees him. And that's when Jonathan guys, oh, she's pretty much, she's a good person after all. The princess is a good person after. Then she gets away. Then somehow Gal Gadot sees this, and then she, that's where she's like, okay, Snow White has to be punished. That's where she orders the Huntsman to take her to the forest. And guess what? They race swapped the Huntsman. He's now a black guy, but he was white in the original animated film. Yeah, you could be saying, oh, great, that's just super convenient. Oh, great, you're super racist. There's a reason why they did it, okay? There's a reason why they did it. So, yeah, it's Huntsman takes her to the forest, and the same thing happens. Like, he's having conflict. Oh, I shouldn't kill this innocent woman. And then, yeah, so the same thing happens in the film. Like, Snow White runs into the forest, and then the Huntsman. The only difference is that the Huntsman kind of leaves this hint, like, oh, you should find out what really happened to your father. So it's like some sort of mystery, right? Some sort of big mystery that they're kind of hyping up. Then, yeah, okay. So going back to the Queen, I want to go back to the Queen first before what happens to Snow White next, because it's super strange. Like in the animated film, she tells the Huntsman, once you kill Snow White, bring me her heart in this box. And in the animated film, it was not shown on screen, but the Queen sees a heart. But it turns out the magic mirror tells her it's not the heart of Snow White, it's the heart of a pig. Here it's the apple. I don't know why. I'm pretty sure it's not a heart when she pulled it out of the box, and she didn't even bother checking it. At least in the animated film, she checked. It's like, I found it very odd and very stupid of her. Like, didn't you look like if the hunter really did it? She consulted with the magic mirror first before opening the box. I don't know. It's weird. I don't like that approach. I think it makes her unnecessarily stupid. What else? Okay, so in the animated film, she just the hunter tricked me, and then she kind of just left the hunter alone. But here, so they went the extra mile. She orders the guards to capture her guardsmen to capture the hunters. Like, so like, oh, the hunter's like saying, oh, it's okay for you to kill me, but have mercy on Snow White. This is where they kind of put in an extra song for the Queen, which it's not really that memorable. It's like, I don't even remember the lyrics, but yeah, there's, you kind of know the remix. They added a lot of songs. This is one of them, like Gal Gadot, like singing like, oh, she's the evil queen, like she's the most beautiful, and so on and so forth. So we don't know what happens to the Huntsman, but so they brought in a new character. So since the Huntsman failed, they brought in the one replacing the Huntsman to kill Snow White is the head of the guard. And can you guess what the race of the head of the guard is? Oh, he's white? Oh, okay. It's the bad guy is Snow White. Oh, what a coincidence. Okay. So off they go to hunt Snow White. So moving back to Snow White. Okay. Yeah. So it's the same. The animals lead her to the house, Seven Dwarves. But the very, very, very different part of this is that we already know the trailers. We've seen it. She just immediately goes to sleep. It's not like in the animated film. She gets there. Oh, everything is so dirty. There's cobwebs in the ceiling. There's dust all over the floor. It's so messy. So what she does in the animated film, if you don't remember, is like her and the animals clean the house. So it's like, oh, okay, that's where the whistle while you work comes in. Then that's where she goes to sleep. Here, she just goes straight to bed because like without doing any. And then when moving to the dwarves, it's still I think it's okay. The high hope. Uh, it's pretty it's pretty CGI dwarves thanks to Peter Dinklage. It's still the same. So when they get home, they spot Snow White. They get afraid, and then what do you call it? Yeah, so like they just accommodate Snow White with because for me that's such a it's such a girl boss moment. Like she just gets to stay there. Unlike in the animated film, like they made a deal. Allow me to stay here in your house. In exchange, I will clean up for you and I will cook for you. That is very important in what came after in the animated film, which they destroyed because they didn't allow this to happen in this remake.
The king.
Yeah, they just yes, yeah. They decided to look for his dad, and then along on her own, right?
On her own.
So the dwarves didn't go with her. So on along the way, that's where she encounters Jonathan again, the guy who was stealing food from the castle. So that's where the weird 7 people that people kept making fun of like last year. So we thought they were the dwarves, but it turns out they were another group of people that
They
were
were
not.
bandits.
They're not. That was not in the animated film.
Exactly.
So they were actually there. So people thought they were the dwarves. Like, people, what the fuck is this? That's nice. Yeah,
And they were bandits.
yeah.
Something that was not mentioned even in the classics.
yeah. So they were bandits who are rebelling against the evil queen. So new cast of characters, and then while Jonathan was saying, "Oh, I don't have time for your princess problem."
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you're expecting a Prince Charming. So again, throwing jabs at the original story. There's no Prince Charming here. And then while they were conversing, the king's guard, found them. And then all of a sudden, when like when they were running away, they thought they got away, but one of the guards spotted them and was about to shoot a crossbow to Snow White. And that's when all of a sudden Jonathan like does a 180 and like no, and then shoots an arrow on his heart. And then to cure his injury, Snow White was like, "Oh no, we gotta take it to the dwarves." But I don't really recall the dwarves being
Medicinal
even the dwarf doc. I don't recall him being like a professional doctor. But anyway, he miraculously cures Jonathan from the arrow to the heart, and then Jonathan realizes, and Snow White realizes they're in love. So, yeah, very fast exposition there. Very fast 180. And then, what happened afterwards?
That's where they decide, or she decides,
She decides to
take the lead, be fearless, and
be fearless
and take down the queen, the evil queen.
but no.
Because they were
And the,
the soldiers were
no, they got separated first.
yeah, because Jonathan had to like divert the soldiers because they were already found out.
Yes, which okay, so yeah, they Jonathan had to distract the soldiers, which he got caught. And I forgot to mention that before okay, I'm all over the place, but let's backtrack all the way back to her dad before he left to the Southern Kingdoms. They gave her a necklace. I forgot about the necklace.
Yeah, something
Yeah,
very
so he gave her a necklace, something to
With the
remember him by.
forwards.
yeah.
So so when before Jonathan, so moving back, fast forward again to the present. So Snow White gave Jonathan the necklace, maybe as a sign of her love. I don't know. Like so,
proof. If ever look for the father,
Yeah, for
a proof. It's
for
like
Jonathan to have a
for
reason
Jonathan
to come back.
come back. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what he actually said.
yeah. Okay, there we go. Yeah. So
So Jonathan has a reason to come back to her
yes. Okay.
and return the
Yes,
necklace.
and he
Very
then Jonathan
Get
he
caught.
gets caught. He gets caught. Then he's taken back to Gal Gadot. So Gal Gadot saying, "Where is Snow White?" And just I don't know, but she sees the necklace, so she knows that he knows
She's
where
protecting.
yeah, protecting her. So she pulls the necklace, and then Jonathan gets locked up in the dungeon, where we find out that the Huntsman was also locked up. So they're both locked up there, and we'll get back to that later. Then that's when. Oh, okay. Uh, so the evil queen kind of figures out her location, which is where the dwarves were. So that's where she transforms into the ugly old lady,
Old lady.
with the poison apple. With I don't kind of approve how it went down, because like she just makes the potion super fast, and in the animated film they kind of spent a lot of time how she brews that. But anyway, so here's the part where for me that's strongest, the weakest part of the film is the poison apple. Like because in the original, if you guys remember in the animated film, how she ends up eating the apple is because she does the cleaning and the cooking. The grandma comes in with a basket of fruits with the poison apple. Here, this is very good apple for the dwarves. You should try it. That's how she ends up eating it, and that's how she ends up getting poisoned. But we don't have that premise here in the remake, so it's like she just shows the necklace. Oh, Jonathan is taken captive. You gotta save him, and this apple is gonna nourish you
For your journey.
for your journey. And then she just
Took a bite.
this random stranger hands you an apple. It's like for nourishment. Like, wouldn't you like? Okay, it's fine. It's
Someone
fine.
forgot to think about the
I have,
batteries.
I have other food here. I'll be fine. No, she just eats it and then she gets poisoned. Wait, I don't know. It's ridiculous, but yeah, that's how she got poisoned. And this is where the movie deviates, because right in the animated film, the dwarves find the queen, chases her to the cliff top, and then lightning strikes, and then she falls to her death. That's where the film ends, and then the prince finds her and kisses her. But here, she gets away back to her castle, and Jonathan runs back to Snow White. Sorry. How Jonathan breaks free from the castle is turns out the chain that him and the Huntsman are on is
Very old.
very old and rusty. So for some reason they just got, if we work together we can break the chain. And then they break free, and then Jonathan, because he's a thief, he can unlock all the picks and they get away from the castle. And then he runs back to see Snow White lying down, and then it's since they're quote unquote in love already, so he kisses her, then she wakes up. Then Snow White goes back to the kingdom with everyone just following alongside her. Like she's just, okay, there's Snow White. Okay, we follow her. That's it. Everyone just followed her, and without any hardship, without any development, without any convincing, not even trying to convince people to fight. Everyone just follows her. And then when they get to the castle gates, they see she goes face to face with Yagano and the guards. And Yagano said, okay. She hands her a diamond dagger. Because Yagano's point is like, people want diamonds, not flowers, because flowers fade away and diamond is hard and perfect and eternal. It never was really driven. They never really proved the point of that. But anyway, so Yagano gives her a diamond dagger. Okay, kill me if you want to take the throne. So they make it seem like Snow White is like super, I'm gonna kill you or not. So Snow White says, no, I won't kill you. Then Yagano takes the dagger and says, orders the guards to kill her. Okay. Now that she's here, kill her. And then how she turns it around is again really stupid. Like she could have done this way before, where it's like when the guard was about to kill her, it's like, oh wait, I know you. We were childhood friends, and you. And all the guards were like, oh yeah,
I remember.
Yeah, you remember. And then they just like, no, we're not gonna kill her anymore. Like,
Anticlimax.
you could have done that in the start. Oh my god. Anyway, yeah. So the guards decide not to kill her. Everyone's siding with Snow White now, and then Yagano goes to the magic mirror, saying, "Magic mirror, I'm still the fairest of them all." And magic mirror says, "No, you're it's Snow White. Then Gal Gadot gets angry, and then she's, "You liar!" And she breaks the mirror, and she somehow dies because of that. She gets turned into stone, and then yeah, she shatters along. The mirror just gets restored by itself, and then yeah, Snow White rules the kingdom, and Jonathan, they never really propped him up to be a prince or a king, but you know the Disney agenda. So he's just like a side character, maybe a lover boy or something. But that's it. That's Snow White remake. It's terrible.
It's quite disappointing how they even ended the story.
Yeah, it's the main point of the original film is lost. It was done much better, and yeah, CGI dwarves. It's everything we thought it would be, and in some aspect worse, especially with in that part. Like if they really wanted to prop her up to be the girl boss, I mean, you could have at least made it convincing, but they didn't. Just everyone just follows her command. Like, oh, you're just meant to be the leader. You're meant, and that's it. No character growth to get to that point. At the very least, do that, right? Yeah, that's it. That's my thoughts. It's terrible movie. It's like every who's shocked. Who is shocked by this? And yeah, Phil's gonna watch this too, and we'll talk about it this week. And yeah, that's my first out of theater review. Thanks, guys.